here is how the sales presentation is conducted. Again, I've just asked for their budget. I know that they can afford $80 to $100 a month, let's just say. They agree, yes, 100%, that's what they can do. And so here's how I progress from this point. I say, great. So now that I know what's comfortable for your budget, Mrs. Jones, let me ask you a question. You ever heard the difference, or you know the difference between, say, term life and whole life insurance? And then I'll kind of jump in here, by the way, guys, and just say, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I say, what I don't say. So at this point, I wouldn't say anything. I'd just be quiet. And they're going to say something. 80% of the time, they're going to say yes, I don't, or they're saying no, I don't know it. 20% of the time, they say yes. It doesn't really matter what they say. For the time being, if you'd like to know what I say when they say yes, I'll be happy to answer that. You feel free to ask a question down in the comments below, and I'll explain it better. But let's assume it's 80% of the time. 80% of the time, they say, no, I really don't know. Or they say, I'm not really sure. And I say, that's fine. Again, most people don't know, and this is why I'm here, to help explain to you the differences between term and whole life insurance, but also to help you understand what's in your best interest so that you can get the peace of mind that you're looking for. So again, I've reframed it back to what they said they're looking to accomplish, and then gave them third-party validation that most people don't understand it. Again, true, but it helps put them at ease so that they don't feel stupid. Just be frank with you. So so first, let me explain to you how term insurance works. Mrs. Jones, have you ever heard or seen anything in the mail from AARP or Colonial Penn? Or sorry, AARP and Globe Life Insurance? 99% of the time, they're like, yeah, I do. And you'll even say, yeah, I throw it in the garbage all the time. They're all familiar with either one of those, one or the other. And I say, perfect. Let me tell you exactly how AARP works. You may be a little bit shocked when you really see what's in the fine print. So AARP and Globe too, they do what's called group level term insurance. The key word there, Mrs. Jones, is term. And term is short for terminating. Like it's going to go away. And they're usually, at this point, they're a little confused. What do you mean, go? So I've kind of had them, I got them hooked. They're leaning in, they're a little bit interested. I say, yeah. So when you get a plan from AARP, what happens is when you hit 80 years old, it terminates out entirely. That means all those years you've kept it, the price has escalated every 5 to 10 years. You buy at 60, it goes up at 65, and again at 70, and then at 80, they cancel you out already, or out completely. My question to you, Mrs. Jones, is are you planning on dying before or after 80? And usually they're like, no, I don't know. I don't know. They say, no, I want to live a long time, or no, I don't know. And I say, that's exactly right. Because the bottom line is nobody knows when they're going to die. So why would you get a plan that's going to kick out before you do, right? I mean, we don't know. And so that's the problem with term insurance, is that it doesn't give you the kind of peace of mind you were telling me earlier that you want, right? It may go away. And on top of that, the other thing these term plans do is they go up in price as you get older. So let me tell you a story, how I mean. So here's where I seg you into an actual story. Again, steal this, please use this, great story, because it's exemplary of the problems with these policies, as well as what the kind of emotional decisions and strife that these prospects have to deal with. I tell them, here, let me tell you a little story. I was down in Flintstone, Georgia, and I was meeting a prospect. It was one of my first appointments of my career, and the lady was 76. She was interested in insurance because her premiums were pretty high. And I started talking to her, found out she had AARP, just exactly like we talked. And I said, so what happened with the price? She said, well, I've had it for 15 years, and I had a little price increases, but as soon as I turned 76, it went from $50 a month all the way to $140 a month. I was like, wow, Mrs. Jones, what kind of impact is that? And she said, well, here's what's happened, David. I can't pay. I've got to decide between utilities. It's winter. I've got to decide between medications. I'm not in the best shape at all. I'm on oxygen. I got COPD. Or I got to pay my insurance. And so I'm telling you this, Mrs. Jones. Now I'm back in story mode. Now I'm telling you this, Mrs. Jones, because she was in a position where she couldn't keep her insurance after paying on it all those years just to lose it. What a waste of money. And that's why, personally, I do not sell term insurance, because I think term is not the best choice for clients. And I have people sometimes tell me it's okay, and I'll tell them go to AARP and just be done with it. And because that's just right for them, that's fine. So term terminates, it goes up in price, and it terminates at 80, and it's just not there really when you may just need it. So in conclusion with the term section, what I've done here is I've explained the negatives. I've put it in the context with a real live person. I've had a few little hooks, little zingers like term is terminating and do you want to die before or after 80? Because that gets people thinking and they're like, wow, I really see the severity of making a bad decision here. And then also I conclude. So what you'll find is I'll tell them what it is that I'm explaining to them. Then I'll actually tell them. I'll back it up with a story to tell them again. And then I'll conclude by telling them what I already told them already. Now, it sounds repetitive, but again, what happens in these sales calls, your client is going to wake up the next morning and forget 80% of the stuff you told them, okay? So you need to get to the point, explain things succinctly with stories and emotion, because that's what they remember. They remember, geez, yeah, that term thing was bad. They may not remember everything, but they need to know the severity, and they need to get emotionally in the moment where they can see how shocking and bad it could be if they buy term, which is fine because, again, that right there moves their mind out from considering AARP and Globe without me saying they suck. You shouldn't buy them. I don't even say that. I just tell them what it does, how it works, and why I don't do it. And that gives them an understanding, but also shows, puts me in a position of what I think is a moral authority too. In a sense, I don't sell because I don't think it's right for the people I deal with 99% of the time. And then I'll tell them to go somewhere else if they do. So it's one of those things that I think makes a huge impact, that I'm willing to walk away from business, and if it's something that I don't believe in. And I've told them more than any of these the brochures or whatever will explain in bold upfront print, which brings me to my last point. One of the most powerful things you can do in your sales calls is to actually show them the brochures from the company. In fact, if you're listening to this and you'd like me to send you an AARP brochure and a Globe brochure, I'd be more than happy to. Actually, an ARP and then a Colonial Pen. I'll be happy to send you both. Already highlighted, my recommendation is to get it laminated. If you want to put a comment in the box down here at the bottom, feel free to in the comment section, and I'll message you and then get your email, and then we can correspond back and forth. I'll get it to you, is what I'm trying to say. But if you show that to them and say, hey, well, don't believe me, check out what it says in their own sales brochure. They'll see it. They get it all the time. And you highlight where it's highlighted, like, wow, it does cancel at 80. I mean, that, again, helps you, helps you connect with these people that this is a bunch of crap. But what's cool about it is I haven't been a high-pressure guy so far, right? I've just been telling them how this stuff works. Here's how it works. It's very simple. It's nothing complicated. It is what it is.